Hi, everyone. You clicked on the long range discussion here for East Coast Weather Authority. But first, we're going to take a look at some of the features that are expected to come beforehand and even into the 15th or so. And then we can actually go beyond that as well as far as more extended outlook. But looking at the GEFS ensembles right here, I've been checking these out today. I've been checking out the Canadian, and I've been checking out the GFS regular deterministic, the single model as well. Haven't really taken a look at the euro. I just think it kind of overdoes things in situations like this. It's good at picking up situations in extreme scenarios, such as where there's going to be a lot of cold air, and it really latches onto that well, and then it develops the result. You know, that's when the euro exceeds that. But this is going to be a situation where that doesn't really end up happening properly. And what's going to happen is the cold air is going to come in not before the moisture source and the disturbance, and that way it's going to be a lot of rain, if anything, at all, depending on if these two systems merge or not. So we're looking at above normal temperatures into the early part of this week, and then the rest of this week is going to kind of warm up a little bit in our sector here of the United States in the east. But then notice all this cold coming in on behind it. This is the GEFS ensembles, and this is a run of a bunch of different scenarios combined. So this is looking like a higher likelihood of cold air moving in around the 7th or so, and then into later the 7th. Look down at Texas and Mexico and all that. Cold air digging this far south this time of year. That's pretty impressive for out there, you know. And if this situation, if this pattern shifts a little bit more to the east here, then we would say, you know, hey, you know, then we could get a Atlanta to Charlotte snowstorm at some point this winter. Not saying anytime soon. I'm not giving any dates or specifics or anything like that. But and then 8th and 9th is the cold and that potential system that we were talking about. But I don't see it happening, and I can tell you why. But first, check out these temperature anomalies here in the Ohio River Valley and Indiana and down in the Tennessee, Kentucky. And this is around the 10th or so. This is on the 9th, actually. So this is going to be a really cold air mass all up through here and even down into Florida. They're affected by the cold coming. Later this week, around the Friday and the Saturday or so. And then all weekend is going to be really chilly, bone-chillingly cold. This is the ensembles. If it's going this negative, especially down here in northern Florida, you guys might have to watch out for the oranges down there because they might not be used to cold this early in the season. Look at all the cold coming down from Canada and essentially Siberia, because there's a back door open right now for cold air all the way into the 14th or so and into the 15th, and that's a pretty impressive pattern here for ensembles across the eastern half of the United States. So I mean, this comes from Minnesota all the way into Pennsylvania, and so that's going to be the flow. And look at all this extra cold air left over into the 18th, 19th, and just could be reloading into something else. White Christmas possibilities this year? Well, I'm not going to go outside of the normals, but I would say if you live anywhere north of Pennsylvania and up in New England and Michigan, all that, 50% chance that you would see flakes on Christmas, but not anything accumulated necessarily on the ground, but just the fact of seeing them. So I wanted to go and show you the GFS first of all. And okay, so here's the 9th or so. This is supposed to be the snowstorm. I mean, right here is what a lot of people are seeing. A lot of pages out there on Facebook, they're focusing on all this blue right here, and they're thinking this is gonna be snow. Do I actually think that? Well, I don't really think so, because the position this low is in down here, this has developing in it, and it just kind of moves away too quickly to do anything. And even if precipitation does spread westward, it's much likely going to be either rain or like a change over to sleet. There could be some sleet pinging the windows of your houses here across central North Carolina, maybe the western suburbs of Raleigh, like Burlington or whatnot, along 85, and maybe up into Virginia, some sleet. But as far as snow, I'm not really seeing a big snowstorm on this model right now. I'm not really buying it. I also wanted to show you the snow that the model has put down here through the 9th and this weekend. Now notice before in here we saw a bunch of rain, right? And then the snow was like on the back side of it right here. Okay, so this all right here, can be pretty much disregarded in here, because that could just be like a pretty confident forecast of a change over to sleet. In here, more sleet is possible, maybe even some momentary flakes in the mountains and the higher elevations here. Other than that, I don't think that this is totally accurate. And of course, we can look at it into the middle of the month and see what the total is, and it's just like a series of, what that shows me is there's a series of clipper systems coming out of Alberta and across the northern part of the United States and just dumping quick little rounds of snow, which is crazy because it gets really, really cold behind these little clipper systems as they come in. That could be why the models are picking up on some below normal temperatures, because of the cold, the bitterness that comes behind those clipper systems right there. So let's go back to the precipitation, and I want to show you what the Canadian is seeing as far as this coming weekend when it's supposed to snow. And really, it looks like there's a coastal disturbance, and this model almost even disregards it as even being existent. And here comes the clipper system, the northern stream energy that was supposed to phase with it this weekend and cause a snowstorm, but it looks like a wide swing and a miss. It doesn't look like the whatever happens to the jet stream here, it just fools everybody, and that's a scenario. It's just like a wow. It's just like a big bust potential all the way in through here. Like, what the heck happened? Where's our snow? That's definitely a scenario that could end up playing out with this. But other than that, looking into later this month, I wanted to show you the anomalies, if I can get the right map there pulled up. This is all the way from this is this coming weekend, so yes, it will be cold after that front moves through with rain ahead of it. And then look at this cold blast coming through on the 13th, 12th more than likely, on the 12th into the 13th, 14th, 5th, and then here comes another loaded pattern. Look at the contrast between the southern part of the country and the northern part. And what I've seen is that this is common for La Nina patterns. A weak La Nina, though, so this could be really in favor for some of the more northern parts of the country. But in the southern parts, it's going to be warm-up spells, and then the pattern reloads and unleashes again more cold air. And that's kind of normal for December as well. But just how cold it gets depends on how unusual or usual it would be. That's all for this segment. Thanks a lot for watching. This is meteorologist Mike Griffith for East Coast Weather Authority. I wish you well, and I wish you a very nice beginning of your work week. We'll catch you next time.